How you doing? Welcome to the second edition of Tom Does Movies. I ran over on the first edition, didn't finish up my review of Walk Hard. I wanted to say I gave it a 9 out of 10 stars, and a very good movie. So this week, I think it was supposed to be a week ago, it was actually more than a month, I think, but I reviewed Walk Hard, Mothman Prophecies, and Hereafter. And this week I'm going to review True Grit, Bladerunner, and Somewhere in Time. And I'm going to start off with True Grit, and I'll try to pick up the pace a little bit because I ran over the 10 minutes last time, and after looking at the finished product, I was kind of slowly eking along there, which I'll try to pick up a little bit this time. But we'll start out with True Grit, which I think was an excellent remake. I think Jeff Bridges was perfect as in the leading role, and the James Brolin was also good, and the little girl. It just worked very well. The pace was really nice. The acting was great. A little bit of humor thrown in to balance things out. I think as was the original, a little bit more this time, and made me laugh. Really into the story. Beautiful scenery, well edited, so on. Whole package, very good package. Very nice production. And wasn't a huge fan of the original, so you know, I viewed it with a little bit of trepidation, but big Jeff Bridges fan. I think he's great, and maybe one of the underrated actors of our time. So I was really pleased with the end product, and I give it 8.5 out of 10. And in case you want to look for it on Redbox or in your local Walmart, there's True Grit. I also want to say that was Josh Brolin, not James Brolin, my bad. And also Matt Damon was very good in True Grit. So the supporting cast just held up their end. Turned out very good. And my daughter's going to be home in about 20 minutes, and she gets the computer after that until she goes to bed. So, you know, I'm going to be kicked off, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Somewhere in Time is the second film I want to review, and the story behind this movie is that it almost didn't get made. It was the studio didn't exactly have faith in the production and cut back the budget, cut it in half actually. A lot of the actors, I believe, work for free. A lot of the supporting cast. It's, you know, some might say, yeah, a little schmarmy and, you know, kind of corny and all that stuff. But the movie gets under your skin and really pulls you in. The music is fantastic. Really moody music that sets the tone. Christopher Reeve, you know, he's no Laurence Olivier, but I think he pulls it off really well. Jane Seymour was excellent. If you don't know this story, it's kind of a fantasy thing about a guy who falls in love with a woman through a picture that he sees. I think he produces plays or writes plays or something, and he's looking for a break, and he's not quite sure what direction he wants to take in his life. So he goes on a little sabbatical, and he runs into this picture of this woman in a hotel, and she lived approximately 100 years before this, and he just falls in love with the picture and seeks a way to travel back in time to meet her. Yeah. Okay, so when the movie came out, a famous critic in New York wrote something like Christopher Reeve does for the romantic genre what the what's the name of it? Hindenburg did for the Zeppelin. So Obviously, after that review, the movie didn't do too well. However, over the years, there's been a cult following on this movie, and every year there's a trip back to the island where it was filmed. Don't ask me where it was. I can't think of the name offhand. But this movie's just a very romantic, you get very emotionally involved with it. I don't mind saying, as a man, you know, I like anything. I like the wackiest comedies, you know, the schmarmiest romantic comedies, the, you know, romance movies, anything. Science fiction. I love it all. But anyway, see Somewhere in Time. Do yourself a favor if you haven't seen it. It's a 9 on the scale, 1 to 10. You won't regret it. You'll love it, especially you women out there who like romantic films. And that's Somewhere in Time. And there's a picture of Somewhere in Time. Alright. Okay, there's 3 movies that seem to, when I think of my favorite movies ever, there's 3 that come to mind. Gladiator, Mothman Prophecies, and Blade Runner. Blade Runner always seems to win out. I always come back to that. One reason, I guess, it's just so different than any other sci-fi movie that's there. It came out at a good Forrest box in just after the Star Wars first Star Wars, and people were just looking for kind of, not that Star Wars was frivolous, don't get me wrong, but kind of you know, the action-packed, you know, too serious, kind of throw the action at me, special effects kind of era. Blade Runner kind of came out in the middle at the box office. However, like Somewhere in Time, it's built up a cult following to where it's one of the considered by many to be the best science fiction film ever. It was the last film that used that didn't use any CGI in science fiction. These guys worked tirelessly to build these the stages, the sets, and pulled it off beautifully. It almost didn't get finished. The backers were really upset with Ridley Scott during the production. Didn't think he was taking too many and everything, and they couldn't believe, you know, they didn't understand the concept and where it was headed. The book that it's based on, which is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip Dick, is very short and, you know, holds very little of what, you know, the basic stories there, but it's a lot different from what you see in Blade Runner. There's so much added to it, and usually that's the opposite. It's usually like all of Stephen King's movies, they just don't reach the plateau of his writing abilities. But Blade Runner, it's a very cool story. I mean, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. For those of you who aren't, a group of robots who are used for slave labor, essentially, escape from the ship they're on and make their way back to Earth when they find out they only have a 4-year lifespan, and their mission is to find their maker to change that so that they can live past the 4 years. Blade Runner, which is Harrison Ford's nickname, what they called them, his job is to track them down and kill them before they reach the Tyrell Corporation. And it's just a very interesting story. There's some holes in it. There's some questions about what does that mean and why did they do this. For instance, Harrison Ford, he's almost killed 3 times and he's always saved during the movie. So he's not like the gallant hero in this. He's he's very fortunate he doesn't die within the first 10 minutes of the movie. But the story is very interesting. The special effects are great, and to know that it was all done by hand is just a great thing. The supporting cast is great. One of the famous dying scenes in cinema, Rutger Hauer's dying scene near the end, and I just gave something away, but is epic. I'm sure you know the movie's been around, but it's just a favorite scene in a movie, bar none. And he came up with a lot of the dialogue himself at the end of that. So, Blade Runner, gets a 9.5 just because I don't think I've ever given a movie a clear 10. But if ever there was one, it would be this. Very dark. I mean, it's not for everyone, but extremely interesting to watch and extremely interesting to know that this movie was the last of the real sci-fi epics before CGI, and just a great film. Okay, and there's Blade Runner. Alright, that's it, and I will see you next time on Tom Does Movies, and thanks for watching. Take care.